ironically, because of Anthem, I've actually started playing that again, and
Really?
I'm deeply enjoying it. However, I like somebody asked me like, is it worth coming back to? And it's just like I'm not at the end game yet, which is nice,
Mhm.
that I haven't reached that yet. But like Jen and
Going
I
through the
both
campaign
invest,
again?
huh?
Going through the campaign again?
No, have only been playing the second half of everything, the like all
Shit.
this stuff we missed, and um, it's really been enjoyable. But not at the end game, so like it's hard to kind of gauge like what's there. But at the same
Mhm.
time, like it doesn't have to be such the investment that it used to be, where it was just like I play Destiny. Now it can be like I play Destiny when I'm not playing Warframe or something else.
Mhm.
Anthem gameplay, refresh. Anthem gameplay. Okay, that's you. God
Me!
damn it.
Me again!
Why?
Hey, I don't know. I'm special.
Oh my god. And okay, there it is. And which one was it? Anthem game.
I'm ready for a sandwich.
Game director for Anthem.
Yes.
Alright, so we'll turn that down to there. We want to reduce some of this strain. Let's go do one of these guys.
Um,
Okay. So, what is the background noise going on there?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, watch the open air, because that really started to pick up for some reason.
Stupid Skype.
Pretty much. All right. Welcome back to Great Scout Marcus. We're in the hype train, which is a... Oh, fuck. I sliced it. Welcome... That's what she said. Welcome back to Great... I'm going to mute this, so for those watching, anyone who's interested... It's not muting. There we go. Anybody who's interested, this is Anthem gameplay in the background. I forgot to change the source in the graphic, so I'm going to be changing the graphic when I do this, when I post this. So, yeah, Mark, I showed this to you recently. It's got me hyped. I'm hyped for Anthem. I'm hyped for... This is the first game I've actually been this excited for in a very, very long time. Movie, game, TV show. Most of the time, my expectation, my want, and desire to consume entertainment is pretty tempered, where it's just like, I'll see it when it comes out on DVD, or, like, I'll play it in a few months. I'll watch the newest season of House of Cards, which we have been so on top of the past, like, 3 years.
Yeah.
But, yeah, now I'm just kind of like, I'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, this is like one of the first things in such a long time where I saw it and I was just like, I cannot believe that this is real. But at least the second half of, or I should say the latter 80% of this was actual gameplay. BioWare was just like, no, it was in-engine actual gameplay running. It was just a slice of the world we're making. And it's wild, and I was never a person who got into these games where it's just like, yeah, you sink about 1,000 hours into this, give or take, and then my issues happen where I basically had this really big burly guy come over and break both my legs for 4 years, and
Yes.
and so I found myself with all this time that I needed to put somewhere, and finally I did start sinking myself into games like this, although nothing is like this. And so, yeah, I do consume these games now, like Warframe, like Destiny, which we were just talking about, and we'll talk about further in a second here. But I cannot believe that they want you to fly around like fucking Iron Man with friends in one of these kind of shoot and loot style games. And it looks gorgeous. This is actually running at E3 in 4K at it was either 60 or 120 frames per second.
Seriously.
And yeah, you just kind of want to watch it because it's just like, this can't be real. It is.
It looks magnificent. I will agree with you there.
And to be fair to all who are bringing it up, when you look at what The Division started as, when you look at how they talked about Destiny originally, I'm sure it will change. I'm sure what you see here, there will be changes to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure this is very high-end PC running 4K, and what we will play on probably console will likely be able to produce some 4K, but likely at only 60 frames per second or just below. That is to each their own as far as, what kind of quality standards you really want to shoot for. That's not something everyone needs. Either way, as long as it still has this kind of same fluidity moving between air and water and then surface, this is nuts.
Yeah. Watching this, I feel like the open world gameplay looks pretty sweet. Like I said, just that first scene, it's not like you're just on this giant plain area and going between buildings and stuff. It's like, oh, there's a giant tunnel to go to this underground area, and then of course, like you said, the water thing was kind of cool.
I think one of the things we probably won't see, one of the things I would personally identify as a chronic gamer who actually understands a good measure of game design, would be coming up here where there's this giant walker like we just saw in the city at the beginning of this footage. They're attacking that giant walker right now, and I don't think that's going to just be a thing in the world that happens, but stranger things have happened in gaming. I mean, when you look at it, Battlefront, they're kind of on rails AT-ATs in the original Battlefront, but nonetheless, it is a thing that persistently happens within the world. So, it's very interesting.
I'm intrigued.
I check for news on this now weekly. I check at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Really?
Yeah. And you brought up recently on one of our episodes, should you just throw away Destiny's disc? And I actually told you yes. I felt like I was just past it, beyond it. They started right around that time. They started to talk about what Destiny 2 would look like, which was much like Destiny 1, and I couldn't help but admit that, or I can't help but admit that this game had me itching for kind of one of those multiplayer loot and shoot style games. Mm-hmm. And computer, you can do this. I know you've been having some hard times lately, but you're capable of this, more than capable. And
the storm sequence is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is another one where it's just like, is this actually gonna happen? They describe this thing as kind of world shaping. We'll see.
Yeah.
And
I'll say Frostbite was mentioned in the beginning. Wasn't that Battlefield?
Frostbite
did Battlefield?
Has kind of Frostbite is an engine.
Okay.
It's EA's kind of signature engine, and they're trying to put it in everything. And that's kind of what has happened to Mass Effect. The newest Mass Effect came out recently, and they had a lot of trouble with it, and a lot of people are actually even unhappy with this game. They're unhappy towards this game because they feel like that the newest Mass Effect suffered because of BioWare's work on this game. Actually, when you look at Jason Schreier over at Kotaku wrote a wonderful article on what actually happened to Mass Effect Andromeda, and a lot of it actually had to do with how they wanted to make the world. Initially, they wanted it to be procedurally generated, like No Man's Sky, where you can land a ship on a planet, take off, go into space, and fly directly to the next planet, land on it, explore the entire surface. That's where they had started with Mass Effect, but Frostbite had trouble with that. Frostbite had a lot of trouble with like RPGs. Moving on, because this isn't a gaming podcast. But we're going to talk about games that we have in common, because this is more a conversation between the two of us. This game kind of left both Jenny and myself, Jenny being a great friend of mine, wanting a loot and shoot kind of game. We had talked about revisiting Destiny to see at least the story content, but then we were just kind of like, it's on sale, it's E3, like let's do it. And so we have jumped back in, and as I was saying to you before we actually started the recording, it's hard to gauge right now, because a lot of what you do in Destiny is a lot of at the end game. How you pass that time, getting a lot of the higher end weapons, the exotics, shit like that. So we're not there yet, but the experience thus far has been very engaging. Very much, and I haven't had a lot of time, so it's been very much like a jump in for 15 to 30 minutes to an hour or 2 hours at times, if we're not, if I don't have the time to play that day, and I just eke out a part of a quest here, eke out a part of a quest there, get a weapon, upgrade my light level, things like that. And honestly, if you still have interest in that game,
Destiny,
yeah, then I would say no. But yeah, we're playing it. We're very much enjoying it. That doesn't mean that I'm away from Warframe. It just means that I'm just looking to enjoy things with my time, and at this moment, and a lot of stuff is being retained for Warframe's upcoming convention called TennoCon. And yeah, that's really a lot of what that gaming stuff comes down to. Mark.
I mean, when you showed me this, I've watched it. It looks great.
It looks great.
It looks like there's no really good way to describe it. I guess my big thing would be, at the time of this release, will I be ready or wanting to put in the time into something like this?
It's a fall release, if that helps. At least that's what it's scheduled for.
Just because of, summer months, I'm always, out or watching baseball a lot. Whereas the winter months, it's generally a lot more in time. I was talking to Dakota this morning, and, there's always things in the back of my mind of like what I could be doing with my time. I've been trying to find another job for a year now. It's just like,
hold that thought.
Learning rendering software.
Hold that thought.
You leaving?
Damn it.
Did he poop on you?
Go get him. Can you come get him?
Do. And I'm just watching the gameplay.
Indeed, part of kind of adulthood is just figuring out what you do with your time.
Yeah, and I guess, without like diving too much into it, it's hard for me to like look at this and be like, yes, I will play this game when it's released in the fall, because I at the time I don't know what I'll be doing. I don't know what else will be going on in my life, or things I'm trying to put more time towards, whether it's working on 3D software.
We are not sponsored by Resolve.
So that's a thing that's on my mind, and as I've always said before, it's just like, what could I do? What else could I be doing with this time? And And that's where you and I are a little bit different in terms of gaming.
Well,
I'm completely fine with just like playing something for an hour and setting it down and not playing for a week. That's why things like Rocket League and Disc Jam, suit me well. It's more about competition than it is, leveling up or acquiring certain weapons or whatever. To me, it's just like, oh, get out. And Dakota will text me. It's like, hey, you want to play some Rocket League? I'm like, sure, we'll play for an hour or two. And anymore, it seems like we do that like once a week or something like that. It's rare that we spend more than 3+ hours a week gaming. Whereas, playing Destiny, I remember when it came out, I would come from work, swing by Taco Bell and play Destiny for 5 hours getting home. And I mean, that was a lot of fun. Like, I had a great time with Destiny with you and Devin and Jersey and Jenny whenever she joined us, or whomever we played with.
If it was late enough.
Exactly. And that was a lot of fun. And I still think about it, and I'm like, man, that was a lot of fun playing that and putting the time into it. And even I think the other day I was talking with, I don't remember who it was, about Modern Warfare 2 and thinking about how much fun that was, like all the time put into that. But and also I feel like Modern Warfare 2 more than Destiny, it was about the competition for me. Once you could prestige, but I prestiged like 4 times, and kind of called it quits there. And even I think Destiny came that way. It was more about personal competition, playing the shooters.
Man, your mic is popping a lot.
Maybe it might be me. I might need to get one of those like screens.
It's not. That's not an air filter thing, because you're not like talking at the mic. You're kind of adjacent to it, and you're not like waving your hands or anything. Anyway,
right.
No, I also understand that sense of competition too. Like, I've been playing more Battleborn lately because it just went free to play. So there's a lot of people. There's people playing it again. And I've also had that itch to be kind of more around people, but also like just that notion of like in adulthood, how you balance your time matters as well.
Yeah.
And so let's go ahead and switch screens for this. So because I've wanted to, because there's probably another half to this ramble that I want to get into.